After all this, the question isn't, will it collapse one day? It will. The real question is, what do you actually have? Collapse isn't only destruction, it's also opportunity. For the unprepared, it's disaster. For the prepared, it's a turning point. But assets alone aren't enough. Skills matter. Those who can produce, repair, transport, and feed others don't disappear in crises. They grow stronger. Because money may lose meaning, but needs never do. That is real strength. Not blind trust, not paper promises, but real assets, real skills, and a mind that understands history repeats itself. Because history never repeats exactly. But if you ignore it, it will still. Your bank account is still there, but your money is gone. Your salary has been paid, yet you can't buy anything. And the system you were told was safe for years has evaporated overnight. It happened in Rome, it happened in France, it happened in Lebanon. And history says this: the question isn't if it happens, it's when. Every empire swears its money is safe. Every government promises its commitments will last. And almost every time history proves them wrong. From Rome to France, from the Confederacy to modern-day Lebanon, people have lived through the same story again and again. They woke up one morning to find their savings no longer had value. Their wages meant nothing. Their futures had been quietly erased by systems they believed were solid. Collapse is not rare. On the contrary, it is a recurring rule throughout history. So the real question isn't, will financial systems collapse? Because sooner or later they do. The real question is this: where will you stand when it happens? The most dangerous mistake people make is the illusion of permanence. We look at our bank balances, we trust our national currencies, and we assume they rest on solid ground. But money is not a foundation. Money is trust. And trust can disappear in a single night. That's why history is harsh, but also guiding. Every collapse shows us what truly preserves value and what falls apart in the first storm. And if you pay attention, you'll notice the same pattern every time. Not those who trust the most survive, but those who sense doubt first. Think about Byzantium. After the fall of Western Rome, the Eastern Roman Empire, Byzantium, survived for another 1,000 years. One major reason was its gold solidus. It was so reliable that merchants from Europe to the Middle East accepted it without question. But here's the irony. The Romans had already seen what happened when they debased silver currency in the past. They should have learned, but they didn't. Centuries later, Byzantium began playing the same game with gold. At first no one noticed, then trust collapsed. That powerful coin turned into a political tool, and the economy began to rot, slowly, but inevitably. So, who didn't lose? Not those who trusted the state's promises, but those who held real gold, inaccessible land, assets the system couldn't seize. The first lesson is clear. Governments always give in to the illusion of debasing money. And when they do, real value moves to places they cannot print. But not every collapse comes from monetary manipulation. Sometimes disasters strike without warning, like the Black Death. In the 14th century, nearly half of Europe's population died. Cities emptied, fields were abandoned, trade collapsed. But here's the strange part. When people became scarce, labor became valuable. Survivors demanded higher wages. Land and housing became abundant. Those with liquidity, silver, goods, or simply the ability to work, gained bargaining power they never imagined. If this sounds familiar, it should. During COVID, we saw a modern version. Supply chains broke. Governments printed money by the trillions. Those with capital and access multiplied their assets. Those living paycheck to paycheck fell behind. History rhymes again. Pandemics redistribute wealth. The banking collapse of Florence reveals another truth. There's no such thing as too big to fail. In the 1340-50s, Florence was Europe's financial capital. Banking dynasties like the Bardi and Peruzzi dominated the system. They lent heavily to kings. When England's King Edward III stopped paying his debts, everything collapsed. Depositors lost their savings. The city descended into chaos. People learned a painful lesson. Size is not safety. Reputation does not protect you. This lesson repeats itself across centuries, from Florence to 2008, from Lehman Brothers to Lebanon. The American Civil War followed the same pattern. The North printed greenbacks, the South printed graybacks. In the Confederacy especially, money flooded the system. The result? Inflation went insane. People carried bags of banknotes just to buy a loaf of bread. When the war ended, money was dead. But land, food, and gold still held value. The French Revolution saw the same fate with the assignat. It began with good intentions, was printed recklessly, and quickly collapsed. Farmers refused paper. They demanded silver or land. The revolution destroyed its own trust along with its currency. The 1997 Asian financial crisis told the same story. Those who trusted local currencies were wiped out. Those holding dollars survived. Borrowers drowned. The lesson is ancient and still true. Living on someone else's money means sinking when the storm hits. And this story isn't over. In Lebanon, people woke up one morning to find banks closed. Their money existed, but access to it didn't. The middle class was erased. Everyone who trusted the system lost.